the battle that Sarah Palin picked last month with David Letterman was just the beginning. Well, not the beginning, really. What was the most recent result of lots and lots of practice. Our fourth story in the countdown: before the Alaska governor was feigning outrage with late-night talk show hosts, she was fighting with members of John McCain's senior staff, and perhaps more metaphysically, there is her war on the truth. CBS News has gotten its hands on a batch of emails that were written 3 weeks before the election. They show just how frustrated Senator McCain's staff had become with the Republican nominee's choice for running mate, and she with them. Governor Palin had become upset about a report that raised questions about her husband's membership in the Alaska Independence Party, a group whose platform calls for secession from the United States. Todd Palin had been a member of that party for 7 years. Which would translate to not a member at all, given Sarah Palin's slippery relationship to the truth. Quoting from email number 1 from Governor Palin to McCain's chief campaign strategist Steve Schmidt, campaign manager Rick Davis, and Palin's senior advisor Nicole Wallace. Please get in front of that ridiculous issue that's cropped up all day today. 2 reporters, a protester sign, and many shout-outs, all claiming Todd's involvement in an anti-American political party. It's bull, and I don't want to have to keep reacting to it. Please have statement given on this so it's put to bed. Schmidt's reply to all was sent only 5 minutes later. Quote, "Ignore it. He was a member of the AIP. My understanding is yes, that is part of their platform. Do not engage the protesters. If a reporter asks, say it is ridiculous. Todd loves America." That advice was apparently not good enough for Governor Palin. She not only replied, but carbon copied 5 more people on a response. That's not part of their platform, and he was only a member because independent Alaskans too often check that Alaska Independent box in voter registrations, thinking it just means nonpartisan. He caught his error when changing our address and checked the right box. I still want it fixed.
I'm Governor Sarah Palin, and I am delighted to welcome you to the 2008 Alaskan Independence Party Convention in the Golden Heart City, Fairbanks. Your party plays an important role in our state's politics.
Facts that have been altered at will, and a governor who takes a minor event, overreacts, and turns it into something more menacing. Sound familiar? Schmidt's next reply would be the final word on the subject. Secession, he wrote, it is their entire reason for existence. A cursory examination of the website shows that the party exists for the purpose of seceding from the Union. That is the stated goal on the front page of the website. Our records indicate that Todd was a member for 7 years. If this is incorrect, then we need to understand the discrepancy. The statement you are suggesting be released would be inaccurate. The inaccuracy would bring greater media attention to this matter and be a distraction. According to your staff, there have been no media inquiries into this, and you received no questions about it during your interviews. If you are asked about it, you should smile and say many Alaskans who love their country join the party because it speaks to a tradition of political independence. Todd loves his country. We will not put out a statement and inflame this and create a situation where John has to address this. Time now to call in our own political analyst, Richard Wolff. He's also the author of Renegade, The Making of a President. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, David.
Richard, Steve Schmidt took Governor Palin to school in that final email. With the release of these emails, can Governor Palin ever claim not to know the truth about AIP and Todd Palin again?
Well, first of all, these are extraordinary emails. Just set aside the substance of it for a minute. You have a glimpse of a mindset of a candidate for the vice presidency of the United States, just a few weeks away from Election Day, just a few hours away from a big debate, and, of course, this devastatingly bad relationship with the guy running the campaign. And, of course, it does come back to this old pesky thing called the truth and the nature of their political background. And what what's fascinating here is that either Sarah Palin is trying to dupe her staff, or she's trying to dupe voters, or maybe she's being delusional about the nature of the Alaskan Independence Party. But Steve Schmidt is right to think that this is a political nightmare. And that is going to be the case moving forward. If Palin runs again, as we all frankly expect her to do, she's still going to face these questions, and she better get her story straight.
You mentioned the issue of the truth. Do these emails draw into question Governor Palin's slippery relationship with the truth and her tendency to bend facts at will?
Well, let's just be clear that her supporters don't seem to care either way. I mean, this is a candidate who had a semi-detached relationship to the truth, whether it was about, her foreign travels or science or, in this case, her husband's political background. And that doesn't seem to bother them because they like her performance so much that they're willing to forgive all of these things. As a candidate at the top of a ticket, which is really what we're looking at in a few years from now, or someone who aspires to that position anyway, she is going to face these questions in a much more pointed way. So the dodge that Steve Schmidt sets up here, which is, your husband loves America, really isn't actually compatible with the Alaskan Independence Party, because secession is not the best way to show your love of country.
And if she is essentially planning a run for president, there are, of course, a lot of strategists who are not going anywhere. Surely there must be more emails just like these and more people she has attacked who might be willing to leak those emails.
Yes, and remember that the poison we're seeing here will take a long time to work its way through the body of the GOP here. This is not just about Sarah Palin and Steve Schmidt. It is a broader fight that takes in, for want of a better word, the Cheney clan that is personified by Bill Kristol, and the Bush side of things, maybe Nicole Wallace, Steve Schmidt, and there is a bigger fight that's going on here about Sarah Palin that really doesn't have much to do with her, but will continue, I suspect, beyond her candidacy or non-candidacy in a few years' time.
And Richard, putting the chain of events behind these emails into context with recent events, what do they say about Governor Palin's tendency to overreact, to take minor problems and turn them into major ones?
Well, this comes back to the qualities that Republicans need to think about of their next president. As I explained in my book, you need someone who is focused on the strategy, on the bigger picture. That's what Schmidt was rightly trying to get his candidate to do. If you get distracted easily by reporters, by protesters, then voters are going to say, can you handle the distractions of the job? Because believe me, in the White House, there are lots of distractions.
Richard Wolff of MSNBC and author of Renegade, a terrific book. And Richard, great to see you, and thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks.